I would like to thank Attila Q for sending me this story, and I actually found out about it on Instagram, and I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about it because this right here is enough to piss off any black person or any person who's a parent and would have to witness their child have to go through something so embarrassing and so degrading. So in this picture, you see a boy by the name of Andrew Johnson, and he's getting ready. And this happened in New Jersey. So Lisa, if you're out there, I hope you can pick up the story as well, unless you pick it, speak on it before I do. Um, so it was in New Jersey, and this boy right here, his name is Andrew Johnson, and he was getting ready to compete in a wrestling match. And right before the match happened, you had this white coach come over and stop the match before it began and said that they couldn't allow Andrew Johnson to compete. And by the way, the name of the referee, I'm sorry, is his name is Alan Maloney. Let me see. Alan Maloney. His name should be Alan Baloney. And he said that his wrestling cap to cover his locks was not sufficient for the match, and he had two choices, either to cut his hair or forfeit the match. So what you see right here is this white woman who has a pair of scissors in her hand, and she proceeds to cut his locks out of his head right there in front of everybody. This is the humiliation and degrading part of it all. They decided to pull this shit right before the fucking match even got started and humiliate him in front of his teammates, his friends, and his family, in front of the whole school who came to see him wrestle. Now, it was some people that said, why did he even compete? Because I would have just left and all stuff like that. But he was probably thinking more so of the team. And he knew that if he was to forfeit or quit, it would affect the rest of the team. I don't know what I would do if I was in that position. I probably would be the one to say, look, I'm not about to just lower myself to this kind of humiliation. I'm just going to end up and leave. And the biggest part, like I said about this, is the humiliation part. It's embarrassing that he got humiliated like this in front of everybody right before a match. And I'm telling you, it's not even about the goddamn hair. Now, I was looking through some things and they were saying how in the regulations that if you have long hair, you have to tie it up and things of that nature. And that's understandable because it can get in your face or someone can accidentally pull your hair. And of course, that would hurt. But he put his hair under the cap. And if you look at his locks now, they're short. Like they made it seem like he had some Bob Marley type locks going down his back. But I was also reading, they said that this referee has some racist history. They said back in 2016 he made some racial slurs towards a black man, I think maybe a parent or something on the sidelines. Well, good thing to know is that black parent or whoever that person he made them racial slurs towards wasn't standing for that shit. They said that person went over and body slammed that referee. And then the referee was forced to apologize, not the person who body slammed him. But it's interesting that they know that this ref has a racist history and they allow him to stay on, as a ref. And see, they can't, by that standard, by that stance, they can't say that he came at this boy because of his hair or because of regulations. We can always go back and say, well, this guy is a racist and he went at it because this boy is black. And this boy probably is really good. He's probably one of the star athletes or one of the star wrestlers on that team. He's probably the one that sent them over. And well, while this was humiliating and degrading, one good thing came out of this. The boy still wrestled and he still won his goddamn match. They were banking he would lose. They were probably banking that he would forfeit. So the boy hair wasn't the issue. It's the fact that he was athletically advanced and he was a threat probably to the other team, which they need to investigate that because who knows, that ref might be getting paid under the table. But you know what? This is like really, really messed up. Like and like I said, it's embarrassing. One thing that a lot of people don't want to be is embarrassed. And he's going to remember this shit for the rest of his life. If he never received a wake up call before, this right here is it. I couldn't even bring myself to play the video for y'all because it was just like, I couldn't bear to look at it. Like, you should have saw the look on his face. Like, it was clearly visible that he was pissed the fuck off that this was happening to him. And I think it's more so the fact that he was embarrassed. That would make anyone mad. He probably wanted to punch the shit out of that ref. I know. Listen, I probably would have. I'm sorry. And because, you know, he's the wrestler, hey. And a lot of people were also asking, where was the parents? That's a good question. Where were the parents at? The parents of this boy. Because that is, as a parent, you know, as a parent who will watch that, seeing their child have to be humiliated like that in front of the student body or in front of other, you know, important people, that messes with you. Hell, it could have been someone important like a recruiter in that crowd looking at this. And then I had some people, you know, saw some people leaving comments online. Well, if you follow the rules, and you know who they were. I don't have to explain who they were. You know who they were. The same ones that always like to say we need to follow the rules there and follow the rules here and there and all of this crap. But they don't follow the damn rules the damn selves. That's why I don't listen to them, and neither should you. They break and bend all the rules all day, every goddamn day. 3 ways from Sunday. Around the way and everywhere in between, but think they activate their goddamn God complex when it comes to us. You don't set rules from people who break the rules all the time. Although they lay those rules out in place for us. Talking about, oh, if he just wore a cap or if he just followed the rules, then this wouldn't have happened to him. They didn't ask any of them other white players to cut their hair, and I'm sure their hair was probably longer than his. It wasn't because of the hair. It was because he was about to whoop some ass, which he did because he, like I said, he won his match. As a matter of fact, Lisa just did a video about some kid overseas, I think in the UK, and this was very ridiculous because usually they would be all for this. They actually got upset at this black student over there because they said his haircut was too low. Hold on. So you don't like us when we have our hair naturally out in the open in an afro style, but now you're complaining that it's too low. I'm telling you, it's not about the fucking hair. It's about us, period, being black. They hate that melanin. They hate them superior genes. They hate it. They hate us on a global scale. But what they'll do is they'll minimize it to something as simple as and minuscule as fucking hair to disguise it to make it seem like, oh, it's not racism. It's just like it's just a little small issue. Bullshit. That's what they'll throw into our face every chance they get to try to throw us off. But they can't throw me off. They can't fool me at all. They don't have to call you the N-word for you to be racist. That's what they believe. That the only way they can be racist is to call you that word. No, it's a whole lot of other shit involved besides that word. At this point, it's so much other shit involved with their racism. The N-word is becoming low level, low tier. We know what to expect from that, but it's one thing we have to teach our people if they don't know when they speak in code. And when they say certain things, what they're really trying to say and what they want to say, but they won't say. But I bet you this, if they're not around any black people and it's just them talking amongst each other, they probably say it all behind closed doors. I think I said one time, I think when I was at one of my jobs last week or a couple weeks ago, I went in the restroom and a guy was in the restroom with his son and he was talking all happy and in a jolly tone and he mentioned something about Donald Trump and saying something about Donald Trump being somewhere. I walked out of that stall and gave him a little look and he got so tight-lipped, acted like he didn't even say what he just said. And I walked out of that restroom and I walked slowly because I wanted to see if he was going to still keep on talking, and he didn't. Just one little look shut his ass up. I didn't have to say nothing to him because it wasn't my business what he was talking about. He could have been saying that Donald Trump was the best president in the world. But him knowing that how Donald Trump is when it comes to black people and how a lot of black people don't like him, he stopped talking. Which also lets me know even furthermore that 45 is definitely a racist. And most of his supporters are too. But I do commend the boy for winning. That was the best thing that could have happened. I would have hated if he had lost that match after being humiliated. That's probably what fueled him to win. He's very lucky that his opponent is very lucky that he didn't take his anger out on him the way that he probably would have if he was able to wrestle that ref. He probably wanted to really put that ref in the goddamn Stone Cold Stunner. Those of you who used to watch wrestling back in the 90s know exactly how brutal that move is. They call it the Stone Cold Stunner for a reason. Keyword stunner. But y'all let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be in the description. I'll talk to you in the next one. Okay, so here's an update to the video. This is a picture of that pig-ass coach, Alan Maloney. And since the recording of the video, he has since been suspended from his role as a referee. But to be completely honest, he needs to have more than a suspension be done. He also needs to give a national, I would say, on-air apology to this kid, because he, like I said, he thoroughly embarrassed him in front of everybody. And the thing is, I don't even think I would accept the apology, because something tells me it just wouldn't even be genuine. You know how many of them don't know how to give an apology. And considering this man's racist past and the fact that they kept him on as a coach, whoever kept him on, they need to be brought to the carpet as well. Now, I was looking at some other articles. They were saying how they would support a lifetime ban of this man as well from ever being a referee for anything ever again. So, you know, I'm glad that he was, you know, kicked off or banned or whatever from doing what he is doing. But I think that there needs to be a more dire punishment for this, because this is one of those punishments where he can say he can just kind of brush this off of his shoulders and he can just go on about his business. But that's pretty much the update right there. Now I am done.